When it comes to limiting our kids' screen time, any parent can attest to their kids' obsession with cell phones, iPads, computers, and TV. So how do you help your child unplug? Our resident nerd, Ryan Eldridge, he's co-founder of Nerds on Call, says the key is to unplug yourself. So a lot of it has to do with us, Ryan, right?
It does. And screen time is more than just television. It has to do with the TV, it has to do with the little mobile devices and phones and things like that.
They've got it all.
There was a recent study done that said that 38% of children under 2 have used some sort of mobile device.
Oh my God.
How crazy is that? We used to put pacifiers in our kids' mouths when they'd scream. Now we hand them a cell phone and say, here you go, don't talk to me.
That is so true. And this is another amazing statistic here. Average 8 to 10-year-old spends 8 hours a day with a variety of media.
Yeah, and other kids up to 11.
Wow.
That means that our kids are spending more time in front of a screen than they are on schoolwork.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? So that's really influencing them. And when they're sitting and they're watching a television show, they're sedentary. It's got a sedentary lifestyle. They're watching commercials about food and candy and toys and things like that.
But video games here, and a lot of them are pretty violent. These are the ones that our boys are really digging right now. What kind of adverse effects will this have on our kids, our boys and girls even?
Well, of course, with video games and things like that, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Some video games actually are really good for kids. Yeah. But sometimes when they're too interactive or too violent, that can cause kids to have withdrawals. And so they get really mean and kind of cranky when you try to take them away. And they have trouble self-regulating their ability to kind of turn it off.
Yeah.
So
what can we do?
So one of the things parents can do is they can look at their own behavior. That's kind of the one thing that we don't all want to hear. Often we're sitting at dinner time and we pull up our phone as we're talking and click, 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 and their kids kind of see that and they're like, whoa, that electronic device is more important than I am. It's more important than the story I have about my school day.
Yeah. So definitely we should say no electronics, especially during mealtime, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So one of the things you can do is set up certain rules that the whole family can abide by.
Okay.
So for an example, you say, okay, during dinner time or bedtime, we're going to put all the electronics in one spot. So that way you're not tempted to just pull it out of your pocket when they're telling you a story.
Okay.
And that way, and make it so that way everybody has to abide by the rules. Mom, dad, brother, sister, everybody. And so they know it's just kind of a thing that happens. Then set up like an allowance. So that way it says, okay, well, we're going to give you 10 hours or 5 hours or 3 hours of screen time this week. And your allowance is you can spend that whenever we have time.
Oh, so you're talking about not allowance with money, but allowance with screen time.
Yeah, exactly. Then it doesn't cost us any money. We can just say, hey, and they love those rewards because they want to play their games. They want to text to their friends and they want to send IMs and things like that.
Do you suggest using it as a reward? For example, if you make your bed this morning and do your chores all week, I'll give you an extra hour. Is that good?
As long as it was something that was trackable. And one of the things that a lot of parents do is they'll create a reward system and then they'll take away the rewards when the kid does something bad. Reward should be just like your paycheck. You earn it, that's it, it's yours. You can't take it away. So we have a check mark system in our house. So every time he feeds the dog, he gets a little check mark, and that's his. We can't ever take that away. Even if he does something super bad, that's his. And so he can still earn, and he never feels like he's kind of trying to make up for stuff. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But let's say you're having trouble. Let's say you can't control yourself. You just have to have that phone all the time. Yeah. There's an app you can use that's kind of cool, using technology to control yourself, called Moment Family.
Are you talking about adults controlling it?
This is for the whole family, though.
Okay, got it.
You load Moment Family on all of your devices. It costs no money at all. It's totally free.
Moment Family.
Moment Family. It works on iPads and iPhones. And there's a $4.99 version where you can set up time limits on it. And what this does is it tracks all of your use on your device. And everyone can see everyone's usage of their device. So your kids can police you. You can police your kids. And it also sets up a thing where it's called dinner mode. You press a little button and it'll turn off everyone's devices. So you can't be interrupted during dinner and you can't be interrupted at nighttime. Then also set up other rules that you like: no screens in the bedrooms, no phones, no tablets, no computers, things like that. So that way when they go to bed, they're not distracted.
Yeah, and they're losing good etiquette because of this. Because a lot of times, they'll be interrupted with a tweet or whatever it is, and they get right on it.
What'd you say?
In the middle of a conversation.
I was too busy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
So when setting up limits, we want to know that we need to model our own behavior. Our kids are watching us all the time, and if you are talking to them and you're like, They're suddenly saying that device is more important than I am. And that's not cool. That's not really what we want to say to our kids.
You know, Ryan, you're so right. And I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
We really are. And sometimes we don't even realize it. We don't even realize it. Okay, so there are options then if you feel like your kids are kind of out of control. You mentioned the app.
Moment
and then
app.
What is this burner phone?
Well, what happens with a lot of kids, if you, let's say you set up a bunch of rules, but you don't tell them, or you start monitoring their behavior and you don't tell them.
Yeah.
Well, and then they find out and trust is broken. And so now the kids are going, oh, well, I still want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And so they start putting it underground. They borrow their friends' devices. Maybe they get a device you don't know about. And they do that a lot with Facebook. For example, if you start monitoring their Facebook page, say, you got to be friends with mom on Facebook so I can see what you're doing. They just set up a second account so that way they know you can't monitor it.
Sneaky,
oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah. Or they'll borrow their friend's iPod at night and they'll do stuff when they're supposed to be sleeping.
Goodness gracious.
Whenever we have these kinds of things that can control our kids' behavior through electronics, what we'd rather do is start with a conversation.
Okay.
Hey, we're going to all restrict our usage.
Okay.
Family time's important. We all need to talk all day. We need to find out what everybody's doing. And then you say, this is what I'm going to use to monitor the behavior, and this is how it works. So that way they don't feel violated if they catch you.
Yeah, you have to be honest if you expect them to be honest
Yes.
as well. All right, you're going to stick around, right?
Yeah, we
Ryan?
have
You're
one
gonna
more,
do
yeah.
One more, because now that we've kind of talked about this, we are going to get half of the problem when our kids go to other kids and find out what we can do about that. So we'll be right back.